Hi, I'm Chrissy. So I found out I had breast cancer while I was waiting to pick up a pizza. Not during a doctor's appointment, not sitting in some quiet consultation room. I was in the pizza to go pickup line and my kids were at home waiting to eat. But before I tell that story, I want to start with something more recent. Today is the day that I am launching my new channel, FIT Chrissy. This is not the video I'm launching that I'm recording now, but coincidentally, it is the same day as yet another biopsy appointment, and I'm in my car waiting to go in. Last time I had this conversation with myself in a car, it wasn't in front of a camera. It was all in my head, building up the courage to go in. No, I don't have cancer. No way I have cancer. That's impossible. But I did have cancer, and I got through it, and I've been in remission for over 5 years, and I'd like to stay there, and I hope I am still there. Okay, here goes. That was me on my way to another biopsy, and this was me afterwards. Just went in for my biopsy, and when I went in, it was sunny. Coming out, it was pouring rain, so I had to take my hearing aids out and sprint through the parking lot. They can't get wet. But biopsy is done. So just gotta wait now and going to put it out of my head. Just forget for now and go home and get back to it. The biopsy was benign, and I'm enormously grateful. But this video is not only about getting benign results. It's about the fact that once you've had cancer, you never completely stop wondering. You still wait and watch. I'm still checked and sent for imaging. Sometimes I'm sent for another biopsy. So even when in remission, like I am, even when it's been 5 years or more, I'm still always wondering, will it come back? Or like on that morning a few weeks ago, has it come back? Will it show up somewhere else? Has it? The first time I waited for biopsy results, I worried, yes. But somehow I didn't really think it was possible that I could have cancer. I was terribly anxious waiting for the results. On some level, even if I didn't or couldn't acknowledge it, I was still wondering and I was still worried sick. But in my bones, I didn't feel like it could actually happen to me. This last time, I was wondering whether the cancer had returned. Different question, and it was a different feeling because I knew unequivocally that, yeah, actually, I could have cancer. I wasn't magically immune the first time, and of course, cancer is not an illness that having once makes you immune from it in the future. If anything, it can mean you're at higher risk for it to recur. There was something strangely fitting about the fact that I was having another biopsy on the same day that I launched this channel. I did not launch FIT Chrissy because everything in my life was resolved. I was launching because life always will happen, and because I was grateful, in fact, that it would. Even if some days are incredibly hard, because other days are incredibly joyful, and often the hard stuff and the joyful stuff are wrapped up all together, and that is the only way they fit. So it seemed an appropriate day to launch FIT Chrissy, even though I didn't plan it that way. The channel is not about arriving at some perfect point where nothing hurts or nothing scares me or nothing else goes wrong. So let me take you back to when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer. I didn't have a camera on me that day, and I wouldn't have spoken into one if I had one. I'm the same person now, but I guess I've been recalibrated a few times, and in fact, am continually recalibrating. My original breast biopsy was performed on a Wednesday. I was told the results could be in as early as that Friday afternoon. So, of course, I started calling the doctor's office early Friday afternoon. That is 12 o'clock noon, on the dot. The nurses I spoke to were kind and patient. They said they didn't have the results yet. They even offered, after I'd called a few times, to call the lab. A little bit later, they told me they called and they were still waiting. Then they told me they had the results. But I still had to wait. They told me that only the doctor could give me the results, and my doctor was unexpectedly working a few hours at a different location that afternoon. He was expected to return by late afternoon for appointments, and he would call me after those to deliver the results. And I was just, what the actual heck? No, give me my results. They said, sorry, but no, that only the doctor could give the results because there were specifics that only he could communicate, referrals and recommendations only he could make, questions only he could answer. They could not and would not provide any information. But they would make sure that the doctor had the results in front of him and confirm with him about calling me that evening. As frustrated as I was, I did appreciate that they didn't patronize me. They had the results. They could not tell me. And they had also been very patient with me and endlessly kind all afternoon. Not coming across as being aggravated at all by my assertive attempts to obtain my biopsy results all afternoon. Although I had certainly begun to feel aggravated with myself at that point. She reminded me that the office closed at 4:30, and so I asked her, what then? She said that he'd call sometime after hours. There was nothing I could do but wait. Well, that and get dinner for my kids, that couldn't wait. But no way was I cooking that night. I decided to order a pizza from their favorite place in town. It occurred to me that if I missed the call, I wouldn't be able to connect with him until Monday. So I went around, phone in hand, screen near enough my face so I could see it at all times as best possible. Phone connected to my hearing aids. Full batteries all around. I was not going to miss this call due to being hearing impaired. Also, I was checking and rechecking that my phone's Bluetooth hadn't been cut off and that my hearing aids were, in fact, still connected to my phone. 6 o'clock came around and my kids were circling. It was time to get the pizza. I used my daughter's phone to order it and left 15 minutes later to pick it up. Phone in hand, screen to my face, as well as possible, while keeping my eyes on the road. I was next in line at the pizza place counter when my phone rang, and the number on the screen showed as unknown. I spun around and earned myself startled glances and glares from others who were waiting in line behind me as I pushed my way out of there. Just everyone get out of my way. I answered the call as I rushed to my car. I sat in my car and my soft-spoken doctor did not dance around it. Malignancy. Most likely quite treatable. Bad news. Good news. He said he was sorry for the news, but he felt positive that I could beat it. He was referring me to a breast cancer specialized doctor, an excellent surgeon, and she accepted my insurance. Did I have any questions? Christina? He said my name loud enough that I was startled, so I knew that I had stopped listening for a moment and that he'd been waiting for my reply, any reply, for me to say anything. Yes, I told him. But then I said, no, I don't have any questions right now, because Actually, I didn't have any freaking thought in my head at all right then, except pizza. My kids were at home waiting for me to bring them a pizza. Half plain cheese, half pepperoni. And it was waiting and getting cold. I paid for the pizza and I went home to my kids. I watched them eat. I have always loved to just watch them eat, walk, talk, laugh, play, study, sleep, anything. And I knew whatever it would take, I was going to do it. I watched them eat and I addressed them in my head without speaking it out loud. I love you, my precious babies, now teens. The whole world before you for the taking. I love you. I love you. Whatever it takes, I will do it. I'm not going to tell you tonight. Tonight, we are going to eat pizza and laugh a little and stay up as late as we want and then have ice cream or whatever we want. And that's what we did. What I needed most underneath my skin right then was nothing more than a delicious, precious Friday night. Marveling at how blessed I am to be their mom. And now, years later, I understand something else. Remission is not the same thing as certainty. You do not receive a certificate that says you are now finished worrying forever. You keep getting checked, you keep paying attention. Sometimes you have another scan, another biopsy, and every now and then the old fear wakes up. This time my results were benign and I'm deeply grateful for that. But I don't think the goal is to reach a point where I never wonder again or never worry again. The goal is to keep living even when certainty is unavailable. That is what I was doing when I launched FIT Chrissy on a biopsy day. Because life doesn't wait until we feel certain. It doesn't even wait until we have any idea what we're doing. And neither should we. Sometimes you get the diagnosis, and sometimes the results are benign. Either way, there's still pizza. Thanks for joining me for a few minutes today. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.